Alright, here we go. This is actually take 3. I've done these 3 times now, so a lot to talk about. So this is CSC 458, final project. Let's go. Alright, let's just start with the code at high level at first. So basically there's a lot going on here, but the two things that the user only has to worry about is this start function and then this take turn. So that's it. Everything else is done for you pretty much. I'm not going to go over a whole lot of this just as is. Yeah, you know what? Let's actually just jump right into this. So I had actually started a game from my previous recording. But then, so what I just did is I'm going to stop that one. I called start, and so it immediately begins by having me choose a character. That's the first prompt. So I'm going to go Mr. Green. Okay. So we see some of this now in action. So what we get here is a game board. It's a 3x7 grid. There's 35 spaces in all. And I kept it this way in order to keep the game to more manageable doses. So, typical game of Clue usually takes an hour and a half, perhaps, maybe 45 minutes if you're quick. These games are meant to be a lot shorter than that. So, I kept it to a smaller game board, a smaller player set, and it was honestly probably easier to code and manage as well. So, basically, when you enter your character here, you get a prompt saying you've chosen Mr. Green, and it prints out showing you where all of the characters that are assigned to active players are on the board. So in this case, we're doing a 4-player game. That's what's hard-coded to. If you want to dive around in the code and expand that out, definitely feel free to do so. It's actually pretty easy to add characters. However, the game board will get crowded, so you would conceivably have to update that as well, which is a little bit more of a chore. So Mr. Green will go first, so that's me. So I'm going to do, it's called a take turn function, and then that will prompt me to roll or to make a guess. And by guess it means final game ending guess. I use game ending in quotes. So I will first roll, and I rolled a 1. So I look here, I can see the way it works is that I have kind of coded this where left and right is pretty easy. 1 means 1 space. But actually going down, 1 space is actually 5 because you got to move 5 different positions to go down 1 row in this game. But basically, when you type down, it means down 1, but really it means 5. So also, some other things happened. Let's scroll back up, see what happened. So, wow, okay, one more. So, chose Mr. Green. I went first. So, I rolled, and then so then what also happened was Miss Scarlet rolled. So, she's one of the computer players. So, she actually started here, but then moved into the lounge. So then she was able to make a suggestion to kind of begin the process of playing the game of Clue. So she posits that it was Colonel Mustard in the hall with the candlestick. So then, since the way it kind of works is that the way I manipulate the list, I just basically remove Miss Scarlet when she's the active player, and then basically just smush the list together. So I'm usually at the head of the list, but in this case, I'm kind of now in the second place where Miss Scarlet usually is. And so I'm the first one showing her a card, and I'm able to because I clearly have one of the cards that she has. So that's actually hard-coded, and I'm just going to arbitrarily show her a card. It was just an easier way to do it. My hope was to have time to go back and maybe work out some of those finer details to make it a little bit more interactive. But this all was a little bit more complex than I anticipated it, but I was hoping it might be otherwise to allow for me to go back and do some more things. So, follow the prompt here. I show her a card, she updates her notepad, her turn is over. So then Colonel Mustard goes. So pretty much whenever a CPU goes is when we get the update. So he basically goes from here to here. So you're seeing it's pretty not interactive, but it's pretty reactive. The CPU players are all moving across the board. Plum was, where was he? Okay. Yeah, so he was there, and so he just moved 2 spaces to the library. So everybody's making guesses except for myself, because I just moved down a blank space. So that's what those stars are. Obviously, those are blank spaces to get to the actual named rooms. So I will now make a turn one more time to show off the guess. So, the guess first prints out my notepad. So this is actually a nested copy list to make sure that each instance of the character has its own notepad. So it's already showing with the cards that I was dealt, it's already X'd those off the list. So, giving you kind of a sense for what you should be making guesses for. So I'm just going to kind of arbitrarily here go for, let's see, it's going to be Miss Scarlet. Just got a feeling that it's probably her. Scarlet, helps if I spell it correctly. It was in the ballroom, because that just sounds poetic, with the candlestick. Oh, wait, no, I own the candlestick. Never mind. Make it a wrench. Okay. And this is where another modification comes in. So it was more manageable to kind of just allow you to keep playing even after you guess, make the quote-unquote final guess. So, as you see, I guessed wrong, but life goes on. Miss Scarlet continues to move, Mustard continues to move, so it's a little bit more of a, how should we say, an accessible game in that it just doesn't hard code end when you guess wrong. You can keep playing the same game if you want to, but luckily you can, because it actually exits the REPL after the end of each turn, you can just call start if you want to kind of keep it traditional, and then you just start the process all over again. So, hope that all makes sense. There's more notes in the code if you want to definitely do that deep dive, but I hope you guys have fun and enjoy.